TCM tuning requires more work, more trial and error than ECM tuning ever did. You guys are out there crying about it like, I want my car to drive like a ZF8. It is never going to drive like a ZF8. If I hear from one more person that I want it to drive like a ZF8, I will literally
ignore this. This is what we're doing today. So we got the Q50. I'm gonna pull it out in a second. But today we're going to do some testing with this car. We flashed a new revision of the transmission tune on this car lately, and I have not had the chance to really drive it yet. So I'm probably just gonna pull it out. I'll put you guys on my GoPro so you guys can see how the car drives. We still have some stuff to figure out and revise. So the issue right now is we're trying to get the car shifting like the way we want it in auto mode, like partial throttle, like in comfort or standard mode and sport mode. And then we might test some wide open throttle shifts if we have the space. I really doubt it though, because the traffic here in Houston is pretty bad in this area. So yeah, let me pull this out, let me go on the GoPro, and I'll show you guys some of that. So we'll just try out all the different drive modes in auto. So eco, standard, and sport. And I'm gonna try some manual shifting as well. So we'll just start in standard. Okay, so the car will shift at like around 2500 to 3000 RPM until you hit 4th gear, and then they'll start to, you know, shift a little earlier. So it's definitely better than stock. But we'll try sport mode after this, so you guys can see what that looks like, because that is like where the huge difference is. So look at that. So it hangs about between 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. Okay, I'll make this turn right now so you guys can see. Yeah, actually pretty nice. But check this out. So all I have to do is go to sport mode, and it's already downshifting. So it did that all by itself. I didn't have to touch the shifter. I'm not in manual mode and all that. So now in sport mode, RPMs will be around 3,000 to 4,000 RPM. It will shift around 4,000 or just over 4,000 at like light throttle. But if you give it more throttle, it will rev out to like 6,000 sometimes even. And of course, if you floor it, go wide open throttle, it's gonna go towards it's gonna go to red line. I think this is my favorite mode to drive in, just because how it responds to the car is now. So you guys will see as that drive around a little bit more. Okay, let's try this second gear launch. I'm gonna do manual mode and let it auto upshift in manual. So we have it set up to shift at like the perfect RPM for stock turbos. So I want to test that. Wait to run E30 in this, because like this car's, it's quick, but like it's kind of slow. All right, so change of plans. I'm going to do the rest of this whole thing on the dyno, because this is just an easier way to do this in a controlled environment. As far as I know, on these cars, the transmission doesn't really behave differently on the dyno versus the street. Maybe a little bit. I'm gonna finish this with Hussein, and then I'll take it back on the street for like a final kind of test drive to make sure everything works. But yeah, so I'm gonna disconnect the transfer case, little fuse right there, and then run it on here. And I think we have a new file to try out as well. Oh, what the heck? Manual, starting second gear, then just floor it. I did okay for the very first try. Alright, so getting pretty late out, but we ran into some issues with flashing. I think this may be just a 2021 plus car issue, but basically the flash keeps failing when I'm trying to do the TCM flashes with either the phone flash or the just Pro ECU normally. So what we have to do, we test out a few different ways to do this, but none of them were reliable. We tried doing, you know, unhooking the ECU partially. That didn't work. We tried unhooking while pulling the fuse for the infotainment, the center screen, because I know the guys with the Tesla screen upgrade have issues flashing transmissions. So I tried that. It worked once and then stopped working. So gave up on that. So now the way we've proven to work is actually pulling this ABS module. So this will actually plug in. This plugs into there. Ooh, right there, if you can see that. So it goes in like this way. You have to open this gray clip, push it up, and that releases the entire connector right here. And I'm gonna tap into pin 25 and 15. That's the top and bottom right here. That's can high, can low. Yeah, so I'm using something like this. It looks super ghetto, but I found the pins for the can high, can low on this OBD2, and it's going to be this blue and orange wire, and I'm going to push these two wires into the holes for those pins. It's not fun. I hope this gets fixed soon from EcuTech, so either phone flash or just using Pro ECU on your laptop will work. But I have a very sketchy looking setup. Make sure the two wires don't touch each other. They're very close. And I have to hook up to a EcuTech module right here. I'm gonna just USB that to the laptop and then flash it like normal. So hopefully it doesn't break it, and we don't have to get a new TCU. Yes. There you go. Transferring data. That's flashing. I hooked up a battery charger to the battery just in case, because the flash does take a while. Hey, let's go. Okay. And I'm gonna just pull this out. I'm gonna plug this back in. Here's all the codes I gotta clear. Look, some menus.
Yay. Okay, whatever. Let me know if it works. Bye.
Okay, bye. Start the car?
Yeah.
Boom. Alright, good to go. Alright, so after some tweaking, I think we got auto shifting pretty decent. So the different drive modes actually mattered. So let me just put it start in eco mode. So this is the most chill mode, eco mode. Take the brake off, and then just put it in drive, let it shift automatically, and then look at the RPMs as I give the throttle. Oh, it's like kind of stock. It'll shift around 1500 to 2000 RPM, and keep the RPMs kind of low. It's like very, very chill. And double shift here. Okay, and then if I just throw it into standard, let me slow down a little bit. Come back to a stop real quick. And let me show you the acceleration difference. So. So about 3,000 RPMs when it shifts, which is great for, you know, drivability and everything. Maybe we'll do a higher for upgraded turbo cars, but for stock turbos, that's perfect. And then let me throw it into sport mode. So it's in sport now, and it's set off again. If I slow down, I'll actually downshift one. There you go. So it's like more aggressive, and of course shifting at a higher RPM. Yeah, the stock transmission would never like downshift for you like that whenever you're on the brakes or just slowing down. If you're just driving kind of spiritedly, you can just leave it in drive and just let the transmission do most of the work. It's not like 100% perfect, just like any other transmission. It's not going to be exact to your liking maybe. So, but it will be a lot better and a lot more aggressive than stock. So, and that's kind of our goal here. Manual mode, brake off, to the log, and I'm just gonna floor it. one more time, still in sport. That's so yeah, it's doing all of that in drive, in auto. I'm not hitting the shifter or doing any shifting. It's upshifting at a higher RPM, 4 to 5,000 RPM, and then downshifting if the RPM gets too low. To a certain extent, we're not gonna have it like downshift into like first gear or super aggressive to second gear, and then end up at like 6,000 RPM or something. Let me throw back to neutral, hit the brake. Slow down a little bit. I can smell the brakes right now because I've been like on and off the brakes, trying to demonstrate it for you guys.
What are we talking about today?
The thing that you just released, the transmission tuning.
TCM tuning. You guys want to see how?
Oh god.
Let me show you. No, because Chidong hasn't. Well, Chidong has because he opened it up.
Yeah,
but let me show you guys what this looks like. So if you go to shift schedule, right, which is like how you select when something's going to shift. Let's go to drive, right? Eco, intermediate, normal, sports. Intermediate and normal, as far as I understand, are used in between levels when you're in standard. Who knows? Anyway, let's just look at normal mode, right? And let's say we want to use upshift.
Hello.
This is how many tables I have to modify to get it to shift nicely. And then downshift has just as many tables. And then multiply that by 5 modes. TCM tuning requires more work, more trial and error than ECM tuning ever did. And on top of that, you guys are out there crying about it like, I want my car to drive like a ZF8. It is never going to drive like a ZF8. If you want, I'm saying this with all the love in the world for Q50s, and you will see in the second part of this video how awesome I am and how awesomely impressed I am by how the car drives now. If you want a car that drives like it has a ZF8, get a car that has a ZF8 in it. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. The RE7R is not a ZF8. It is never going to be a ZF8. If I hear from one more person that I want it to drive like a ZF8, I will literally allegedly. Yeah, no, but there is cool stuff that we're able to do with it. We're able to make it drive a lot better, and that's part of all those. The majority of the time I'm spending is finalizing those shift maps. And every time you buy a tune from us, until we've got every setup covered, I'm going to be doing this for, like, let's say a guy with a different tire setup comes with Z1 turbos, or a guy with stock tires come with Z1 turbos, or a guy who's, got a completely random setup and a new set of turbos, or stock turbos and big tires. All of those, I'm going to have to readjust these shift points. And that's going to involve doing all of that. So it is going to take time for this to get as built up as we have our ECM tuning. And there's going to be trial and error. And it's, if you're getting a TCM tune, you have to kind of understand that it's also a new product, right? It is refined, but you're going to discover bugs that we didn't find because all we have is our one shop car and, whatever handful of customers we're able to test with. So, and that's the same for RaceROM 6. We're already discovering certain bugs with certain things that we've done on it that didn't show up on our shop cars or cars that we tested on, but they're showing up on your cars. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff coming out, but it almost feels like we're back in the early days of like VR30 tuning where like we've got all these things and I'm pulling late nights, which Chidong will tell you, I don't do that. Like I have not pulled late nights on tuning in a long time. In the last 3 weeks, every night I've been up till 2 a.m. testing crap with other customers. And even then, there's things that we missed that, you know, you guys are going to find for us, especially considering the volume of how much we do. I think we've already sold like 30 TCM tunes, and I released it on Friday.
This weekend's Shopify orders.
Yeah, was it Friday or Saturday I released it? And we've already sold 30 TCM tunes. We've sold 50 RaceROM 6 updates, right? Like, it's the amount of people that are tuned by us is overwhelming, and I'm very grateful, but it's also a lot of work that we gotta, you know, we are doing and we will keep doing, but yeah, exciting stuff. So yeah, don't expect a ZF8. Expect a more refined driving experience on an RE7R and a transmission that responds to you better. No more shifting into 7th gear at 30 miles an hour in standard or sport mode. It will downshift faster for you in auto based on pedal input, whether you're in standard or sport. Eco mode we left untouched because it's eco mode. It's meant to be that way. Yeah. But like if you're in standard or sport, it's going to be more aggressive in sport. Obviously, when you get on the throttle, it's going to downshift for you faster. The downshifts should feel crisper. You shouldn't have those flares anymore. Overall, it should be a lot more of an enjoyable experience daily driving and like cutting up through traffic, which I know a lot of you do.
Before we get too
I don't endorse, but I know a lot of you do.
We'll get too far about going over the features and stuff like that. Explain to us, it sounds stupid, but like, explain to us what this TCM tune is and what it is compared to the RaceROM 6 that we just dropped. Like,
yeah,
all that,
I keep seeing this, and a lot of people have this question, and they keep asking us, like, oh, how is this different from RaceROM 6? Or, oh, I bought RaceROM 6, why don't I get TCM tuning? Okay.
Yeah, I get a lot of these questions.
No, I got it. I'll be nice. Because what is this, Chidong? Ew, why is it sticky?
Anyways.
What are you doing in my office, Chidong, on my B-Flash box? Oh, it's sticky on the side, too.
Wait, didn't we just take this to Impact? It's sat in the back with all the drinks and snacks, huh?
With you in a car.
Okay, anyways.
Anyway. No, I got it. But you can tell me if I don't cover it at the end. Okay. First of all, what is tuning? You take the stock calibration on a module of a car and you modify it, right? Generally, we do ECM, or on the German side of things, they call it DME tuning, right? ECM stands for Engine Control Module. You have, modern cars have tons of these modules, right? Engine module, body control module, blah, 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 transmission control module. So when we tune the engine control module, we have to license it, you have to phone flash license it, and you tune it, right? And we modify that file. RaceROM 6 is on the engine side of things, right? So all the RaceROM 6 features like anti-lag, custom maps, throttle hang remover, all of that is on the engine side of things. DSG farts, yeah. Engine side. Then you've got the TCM, transmission control module, right? That is a whole different module. You cannot use the license that's on the engine control module. It doesn't apply overall. Ecutech licenses modules differently, and that's not just Ecutech. Every other platform that has both ECM and TCM tuning licenses them differently. HP Tuners requires a different license for a transmission tune on any of the cars they support. MHD supports ECM. XHP supports the TCM, right? Ecutech on the GTR, for example, ECM and TCM license are different. Phone flash is the ability to flash a specific module over your phone rather than a desk key. Needs another license. You can't, just because you have a phone flash license for your ECM does not mean that you automatically have a phone flash license on a TCM. You might think that's unfair, and I'm sorry, but that's how it is. We see a lot of these comments. It's not our decision. We don't make these choices. We use Ecutech. That is how Ecutech licenses it. That's how you're going to have to use it. Now, if you have a desk key, yeah, you can save $150 by not having to do a phone flash license, right? Because a desk key will work on whatever. If you have a single desk key, you can flash every single car that Ecutech supports, provided you're buying the license to license it, but you don't need to buy a separate license for each module in the sense that phone flash, like the desk key does not need to be licensed to different modules. Phone flash does. I hope I explained that right. I don't want you to think a desk key means you have free licenses for all the cars. I hope that makes sense. I know it's confusing, so here's our chance to clarify. Was there anything else you wanted me to go over, or was that it?
No, I was just going to say that like this sounds confusing to the VR30 guys because we're so behind in aftermarket and stuff compared to every other platform. Yep. Like this is normal for BMW guys. This is normal for GTR guys. Everyone, this is normal for VW, like GTI, Golf R guys. They have the TCM and ECM
Daza guys. Yeah. What's it called?
So EA AAA.
EA What's the other one? Wait, EA 824, 825, the 4OTs, and what's that other one? The 6-cylinder. Delete this because I sound stupid.
I'm keeping this.
Whatever that one is, that one too is the same way.
But anyways,
839, EA 839.
Okay. Yeah, so we're like the last.
Yeah, Q50s have needed transmission tuning for a while, but based on how it is, that's why it's taken so long. It's not as simple. We have updated torque limits, we've bumped up clutch pressures, we've done all of that, so you will feel a firmer car, but the majority of what you're going to feel is in the shift scheduling, which I think is a great improvement. Like, if you own a car, how many times you're going wide open versus just driving it around? I think you guys will value that daily driver, the daily drivability improvements more than anything.
Yep.
So
that by itself is worth the money, to be honest.
Oh, another one. This is a good one too because I got this question. You can use this separately in the RaceROM 6 video if you want. So I'll show you. A lot of people ask us, oh, can we do XYZ with RaceROM 6, right? Let me show you what we can actually output on RaceROM 6. If you look here, these are the only parameters that we can use custom mapping for to change stuff, right? It's still quite a bit, but like...
Now open a BMW one.
Yeah, I mean, do we want to do that? No, let's not. Let's not do that. But like, you know, people are like, oh, can you do coolant pump changes? No, we can't. I can't do custom coolant pump, or I guess water pump for the turbos, intercooler pump duty cycles, right? Which is cool. I'm sure Acutech will add these in the future. But this is the first version of custom maps that we are getting on the VR30. There is a lot more that they will add in the future, and hopefully that comes in the form of not a full RaceROM update, and it's just like, hey, yeah, these features are enabled, right? That would be nice because then we don't have to charge you guys again. But when it happens like this, we have to make the files from scratch again. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And that was the other thing that people were asking about. How come you guys are charging for the RaceROM 6 update? Because it's a lot of work. So the reason our prices are as low as they are, right, is we have done so many cars on RaceROM 5 for the last 4 years, right? What is it, like 3,000, over 3,000 VR30s tuned, and they're all on RaceROM 5. RaceROM 4 and RaceROM 5 were essentially the same. Like, you could copy them in the sense that you can compare the files directly, and you can copy over the changes, so you don't have to start from scratch, right? RaceROM 6 was not. It doesn't compare directly like that. There's a lot of tables that don't compare anymore. And so we actually have to go in, manually make all these files. So we have to build up that entire repository of base maps. Like, we have something like 1,000 calibration IDs on the VR30, right? And we've got base maps defined for almost all of those, which is why we were so efficient. Now we're trying to keep up with our 24 to 48 hour response time while having essentially like double or triple the work in some cases of making that base map. And that's adding up. And so that's why we had to charge for it. I mean, you know, I'm sure in a year or two, we're going to reconsider the RR6 update, which I'm sure other tuners will as well. And we'll be like, yeah, you know, you can go this. But by that time, you guys will either have sold your cars, modified them, upgraded them, or bought a new tune. Anyway, which is why we're saying all new tunes except OTS are going to be on RR6. If you're just on a tune, just either wait till you're upgrading, or, you know, if you really, 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 really want the features, I guess, you know, we kind of have to charge for it because it's not the same model as it was before. I hope that makes sense. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I know I'm not the only one doing it. So you guys can't tell me that I'm being greedy when it's just the industry standard. That's all I got to say about that.
You want to go drive the car now?
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. We can show them how good it drives. So, like, I don't actually drive when I tune the cars. I send Chidong out to logs. This is my first time experiencing the TCM too, which is crazy. I tuned this shit without ever driving it.
I gotta hop in the back because, you know,
I trust Chidong to be like the most annoying customer feedback wise. So, yo man, the solid transmission mounts on this car
so bad.
make it so bad.
It makes my car sound so clap and video when I drive it. Because every time I
vibrating all the time.
No, when you're in gear, it's even worse.
So sad. 11,000. Hey, it's got 11,000 miles on it though. Hey, look at that. Put it in manual.
Like,
boom, second gear. That's cool.
Yeah, this is like the lowest mileage.
Alright, is it in race mode or no?
Yeah, it's map 2.
Alright.
It should be warm. I had a...
Yeah, it's been sitting for a while.
But, yeah.
I mean, if not, who cares? See what happens. Shop car, baby. We use these to test what the lowest common denominator will do. What the hell?
Why?
Why it do this?
Why? It's not supposed to do that.
It's supposed to be locked in place.
It should be locked. What do? You just grabbed it?
It's not locking, Chidong. Whatever. Okay, we'll keep it on the lowest setting.
Okay. Yeah, so the standard will shift around 3,000 RPM.
That's not bad. Yeah, I just felt that. But it's slowed when you're downshifting. We made it where the downshifting's still right. That throttle response is so much nicer. Wow. Yeah. Honestly, man, this is so, like, look at the throttle response is so much better. Not the hang, whatever, but like the transmission tuning is actually sick right now. Oh, look at that sport mode. Now we get to hear the rap all the time, the raspiness. Actually, on this exhaust, 3000 actually sounds better because it cancels out some of the shit. See, this is great. It's not upshifting. So we had a lot of guys like, oh, will it stop upshifting at like 40 miles an hour? We're at 40, and this is, I think, in third right now.
Yeah, and this will stay around 4,000 RPM, and will be around that area the whole time.
Except you said it doesn't downshift to second. Second takes a while. Yeah, I can see that. It's not going into second when I want it to.
Downshift to third, fourth, and everything when you're higher gear.
Yeah, we gotta do some spirited driving. No, we're gonna go back out on the road. Yeah. Hey, look, that came back up. The nav start. This car didn't come with nav.
What?
It used to have the clock. How do we get nav in this?
It's always had it. As far as I know.
No, this car. Well, yeah, you only remember it from when the screen started working again. Yeah, this car didn't have navigation when we got it.
Well,
that's cool. Honestly, the second gear takeoff is so much nicer because you don't have that. You don't get jerked around by it anymore. Oh wow, the boost kicks in third, huh? The load picks up.
Yeah.
And then you feel it. This is awesome. This is exactly where I'd want it to be.
Yep.
Like around 3K all the time in sport. That's how a lot more of the sports cars drive. Like, you know, real sports cars. But anyway, that's a good thing to bring up. So why are we doing transmission tunes on these cars, right? Specifically for this daily drivability in auto. I used to always want to keep a Q yeah, that's nice. That's exactly where you'd want. Like, see, if you're spirited driving, you want it to be above 3,000 because you don't want to be lugging the car around. So I would always had a habit to keep a car in manual mode. Yeah, back before we had transmission tuning, because I didn't like that it would always be so low in RPM. This is great. We're gonna floor it. See what happens. Oh, traction control, nice. Yeah, see, that's exact partial throttle. I want it to rev out. That's fantastic. Before, even if you're partial throttle, I was like maybe 30-40% pedal there, and it went all the way to 6,000 before shifting. That's great. This is how I want a sport mode car to drive. Look at that immediate downshift. Yeah, see, this is how these cars, we always wanted these to drive from factory. And so you see that, it's downshifting for you. It's not letting it go below 3K. Fantastic. And then you throw it back in standard, and it drives pretty normal in standard. It's going to drive like a regular Q, but you're still going to have that quicker downshift response when you want it. And that's really all that was the main reason for transmission tuning. The second reason was obviously we've already shown you guys that second gear launches, starting in second, all that kind of stuff, right? And then the third reason was slightly firmer shifts, right? So let's see if we can, the best way you're gonna see it is manual. I think if you just watch the tack when you command a shift. So it shifts a lot faster. Downshifting was a lot faster, right? So that's third. You see how quickly it goes. There's no flare. If you guys remember at partial throttle, dude, even in manual, really so we can check out the 4 to 5 right now, right? So let's get it above, like, I need some space. Well, let's try and get it above 3K and then give it a 4 to 5 shift and see what happens here. All right, let's see. You see that? There's no flare. You heard it bump, but it didn't go. It shifted, and that was always a pain point on these cars,
and that's
right?
not even a full throttle. It's just like partial.
No, that's partial throttle. Yeah, full throttle shifts great. I think most people are not going to notice too much of a difference on full throttle simply because full throttle shifting on these cars was always pretty good. It wasn't like, so a lot of people were expecting like, oh, we're gonna shave off like 4/10, right? Yeah. Like how a ZF8 car does on with drag mode with no torque reduction. But the truth of it is, these cars don't have torque reduction on shift in that sense. So they've always commanded full pressure on shift for you, and you've never, like, if you ever felt it like a tuned Q50 with just an ECM tune, wide open throttle, the shifts are firm as hell. Yeah. And so you're not going to have that massive gain, but what you will have is a lot better partial throttle drivability. Well, I'm flooring it now. Yeah, so the full throttle shifts definitely feel better, but it's not as much of an improvement as daily driving is. But like I truly think having the ability to daily drive your car in auto and enjoy it is a lot more worthwhile. Like, see that, putting it in sport, look at this throttle response in sport. Like, I never had sport drive like that, and so for me, this is actually awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy with this. Chidong was like, oh, sometimes it doesn't downshift. Bro, that's perfect. I get that it's not going into second for you, yeah, but second is a very short gear anyway.
I'm also spoiled with ZF8, so I can't, I really can't complain. Like, that's what I'm saying.
He dailies a Supra with a trans tune on it, so like, you know. But no, I think this is great. I think a lot of you are going to enjoy this. And this improved drivability part is in the basic tuning. It's not, you don't have to buy the advanced tuning. The advanced tuning is really for, hey, I want to dial in the auto shift points in manual. I want to do that kind of stuff, right? So we can do, what, traction control off. Put it in manual, and we'll just floor it, and you'll see that it's automatically going to upshift, right? And that's cool. Like, that's a nice feature to have in the advanced mode, and then dialing in those shift points. But I would say like 90% of you are going to be so happy with the basic tuning with these improved shift points and improved response in auto that you know, it's going to be all you need. There's a freaking garbage truck. Let's see where he goes. Well, whatever. Look at that auto shift. You like that? Okay, that's fine. I'm going to floor it again if you want a second gear pull. Ready?
For a downpipe 93,
it's not bad. It's not bad.
This is pretty
it moves out on 93. Yeah, it's not slow by any measure.
Maybe also because I'm trying to film and shit. Like this is throwing me around. Like
you feel it when you're not driving. Yeah, when you're driving, all cars feel slow. To be quite honest, unless you're in a death trap, they never feel fast. Yeah, but that's so. To recap, right? What is a transmission tune for? It is not going to take you from running like a, you know, like a 10.9 to a 10.5. That, unless you're just really bad at shifting it yourself, that's not what's going to happen here, right? Other than being able to manually automatically upshift in manual mode. You're going to shave a little bit off the shift times, as Mark's done a really good job showing it. I think we probably showed it pretty well. Yeah, Sonic Tune has shown a really good way of showing you how quickly the shifts. I think if you look at the tack here, you'll see that, and if you compare it to a stock Q, you'll really see how much quicker the tack is coming back down, right? And that's showing you how fast it's shifting. There's no flares. That's all going to save you a little bit, but really it's going to be a much better daily driving experience. Firmer shifts, which also contributes to a daily driving experience. Not necessarily super fast on the shifting, but if you're one of those guys like, man, I'm really bad at, you know, hitting the paddles or hitting this guy to upshift when you're racing, you buy the advanced tune, we dial in your shift points for your setup, and you don't ever have to worry about that again. Yeah, right?
So one of the things I wanted to do to this car, because this is a base model, it doesn't have the pedal shifters.
So this one we need that.
I thought about doing the, you can retrofit them and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And now
why would you? Why would you? Because you're gonna set it up, right? It's our shop car. We're gonna set up the shift points. You literally throw it in manual, second gear, 40 roll, brake boosted, and send it, right?
Yep.
And I think that will make the experience a lot more enjoyable for people, because really racing cars comes down to, I would say,
consistency, bro.
I think it's like 50% driver mod, 50% tune. Okay, I have seen slower cars beat much faster cars just because the guy with the faster car can't drive, right? If you don't know how to brake boost, you don't know. Well, now we have anti-lag, which we're not doing. I mean, we are doing it, but we don't recommend it on stock turbo cars, right? Did we enable anti-lag on this bitch?
No.
I think we did. Yeah. But anyway, if you can't do all that, this is great because you only have to focus on one thing: countdown, brake booster, anti-lag, and go. Let the car do everything else for you. So that's where it's really going to shine. I think as we get more, perhaps we will find the shift timing tables and we'll be able to make it shift faster. But until then, I still think it's a great way to make the car drive better. I think the biggest complaint from a lot of people over the years has been, oh, the stock TCM logic when I'm driving around town is terrible. Well, there you have it. You're not in 7th gear at 40 miles an hour anymore. In sport, it's in 3rd until like 60, 65, right? If you're on the highway, it's probably going to be in 4th most of the time you're on the highway, which is where you want to be if you're cutting up, which I don't endorse. But if you are one of those people that likes to cut up traffic, it's great. This is gonna, you know, get rid of a lot of those situations. People are lugging their cars around. It's not like 2,000 RPM in 7, and they're giving it 50% throttle, and the car doesn't downshift. It's not gonna do that anymore. It's gonna downshift. Even in standard, it is improved. So yeah, I mean, I'm very happy with it. I think it's a great product. I'm obviously gonna say that too, like I'm biased because I did the tuning, but I think it makes the cars a lot more drivable. This was fun. This was better than I expected driving it around. I didn't think it was gonna be that You know, like I saw the videos and the logs you sent me, but I didn't expect it to drive how I wanted it to. So I'm pretty happy with that. All right, cool.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Must try again, as Mark Quay would say. Helicopter Man on TikTok.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Second gear launch.